You are now listening to On One Radio, the talk show podcast station, bringing you the current events and issues. All information and resources are based on the opinions of the host unless otherwise noted. This podcast may contain some quotations, images, and/or excerpts from copyrighted material. These uses fall well within the copyright doctrine of fair use. This is the News Report, and I am your host, Tony. Welcome to all my listeners and all of my day ones. This is the Let's Talk News Report. Okay, so as usual, there's always another story and there's always something going on. And these things they have gotten very serious. People are getting hurt and not really being taken very seriously. And so in the news, we have a situation where a hate crime investigation has been dropped. Some of you might be aware of it, some may not. Now, this took place in Madison, Wisconsin. A federal investigation was going on. This biracial woman, had lighter fluid allegedly thrown into her face and then set on fire, and this allegedly happened at a red light in downtown Madison. Here we go. Now, the investigators and Madison police are closing an investigation into an alleged hate crime against 18-year-old biracial Madison woman after being unable to prove the attack occurred. I have to stop right there for a second. How do you not prove that you were hate crimed on, set on fire? How can you not prove that? Now, that's what they were looking for, proof though. Now, Althea Bernstein, an emergency medical technician in Madison, told police on June 24th she had been attacked by 4 white men about 1 a.m. while she was stopped at a red light in downtown Madison. She also stated someone yelled a racial slur at her, threw lighter fluid on her skin, and through an open car window, ignited it with a lighter. Eventually, Bernstein went to a hospital for treatment. And now there are images on her, and it does show marks where something has happened to her skin there. But the United States Attorney's Office, the Civil Rights Division of the United States Department of Justice, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation announced that its 3-month investigation into the report found insufficient evidence to pursue federal criminal civil rights charges for an alleged hate crime. So if folks is getting lighter fluid thrown on them and set on fire, if they're having a hard time proving their case, something less serious than this is going to be a battle trying to be heard or get justice. Now, is it true that this happened? Or is it not true? Or is it just, like they say, a lack of evidence? Now, the investigation included extensive interviews, reviews of traffic and surveillance video, and expert review of digital and forensic evidence. Now, they've went through all that, and the federal investigators determined that there is insufficient evidence to prove that a violation of any federal criminal statute occurred. Now, after reviewing all evidence, authorities could not establish that the attack as alleged by the complainant had occurred. So, Bernstein said she was attacked just hours after rioting protesters smashed windows and tore down 2 iconic statues at the Wisconsin state capitol. The same night, Democratic State Senate Tim Carpenter was assaulted after filming the protesters. Police at the time did not say whether the attack on Bernstein was linked to the protest or outside agitators, but Bernstein told Madison 365 that two of the men involved were wearing jeans and a floor shirt. Okay, so why does the floor shirt matter? Well, members of the far-right movement known as the Boogaloo are known for wearing Hawaiian shirts. These groups' intentions are unclear, with some members seemingly determined to protect protesters and others hoping to provoke violence. So there's always a little bit on each side. Yeah. Well, police records released show screenshots of security camera feeds of the night Bernstein stated she was attacked. The photos show her car traveling through downtown Madison, where she said the attack occurred. But cameras did not capture any interactions with pedestrians or vehicles. The video footage showed it was unlikely Bernstein was stopped at any red lights as she traveled that night through downtown. Now, the police records also show Bernstein told police officers UW hospital staff took a sweatshirt she was wearing that night that was contaminated by lighter fluid and threw it away. But the hospital officials told police they had no such record of disposal. This is getting very interesting. A search of the car Bernstein was driving also did not reveal burn marks, unusual smells, or smoke-related damages. Now that's according to police. Police also were unable to find suspects matching the alleged attacker's description in footage on 17 cameras around the area where she said the incident took place. Now, a Madison resident who wanted to remain anonymous also supplied police with surveillance video of what looked like Bern's vehicle traveling through the intersection Bernstein where she was supposed to have been attacked took place, but in the video she did not stop, nor pedestrians are visible in the video. Now, Wisconsin's crime lab showed a shirt Bernstein was wearing the night of the incident was contaminated with a substance that could be a charcoal lighter fluid or paint thinner. The records also show messages Bernstein sent a male friend describing the attack as follows. "Someone on State Street just tried to set me on fire," she wrote to her friend. Another friend told police she FaceTimed with Bernstein the night of the incident and that Bernstein looked terrified. Snapchat messages also reveal Bernstein was consistent in how she described the incident to friends. She also received treatment for her injuries as well as followed up with care. So this is, like I say, it's very interesting because if this truly did happen and they just dropped it, was it because the case was too hard? They just didn't want to deal with it? You know, it went against their, whatever, their motives or whatever they got going on for their town. Sure enough, yes, it happens. It could be, possibly, allegedly, hiding evidence. Or it's a situation that's pretty much a cut and dry. It did not happen. So you guys tell me how you feel about that. I mean, how could they not find anything on the cameras or any evidence at all, or the pictures of her face, the hospital records, or anything like that? It just seems like it's something fishy about this story. It's something very fishy. And if I find out anything else on that story, I will definitely let you all know. And if this is your first time listening to me, again, welcome. This is Let's Talk News Report. I'm your host, Tony Williams. And if you do not follow me on social media, please do. The name there is Tony on One. You can find On One Radio on Facebook. And check out On One's Day One's private Facebook group where we talk and chit-chat and all that good stuff. All the behind the scenes stuff is there. Moving along to the next story, we've got Netflix. Now, I did a story about this. It was over the Cuties movie. There's a lot of heat out there about this still going on. A lot of people feel some type of way about this. Well, apparently over in Texas, Texas really is not going for this sort of thing. So, Netflix has been indicted in Texas over lewd depiction of children in Cuties. Who do they get for that? Like, seriously. Who do they get? The whole company? Parts of the company? I don't know. It's just questionable to me. I'm just wondering. Netflix is now facing a criminal charge in the ongoing backlash over Cuties, a French film centered around an 11-year-old girl living in Paris who wants to join a local free-spirited dance group. Now, a grand jury indictment for promotion of lewd visual material depicting a child was filed on September 23rd in Tyler County, Texas, according to Texas Representative Matt Schaefer. And the indictment has been, confirmed. The indictment states that Netflix promoted, distributed, and exhibited material which depicts the lewd exhibition of genitals or pubic area of a clothed or partially clothed child who was younger than 18 years of age. For the period interest in sex, it also states that the material held no serious literacy, artistic, political, or scientific value. Now, Netflix Inc., indicted by grand jury for promoting this. This is very interesting. Can they do this? Can they really do this? How do you guys really feel about this? And are there any other states that are going to pick this idea up as well? It's definitely another question. Now, of course, Netflix gave a statement regarding the indictment. And it is as follows. Cuties is a social commentary against the sexualization of young children. This charge is without merit and we stand by the film. Okay, short and simple. All right. But can they do it? Now, critics said the film and its promotional materials sexualized the young girls, equating it with child exploitation or child pornography. Now, we know a lot of this we're already battling sex trafficking, child pornography, and so this is a very heated time, and I can, in a sense, see why this would be a problem for some, but by the same token, this is kind of iffy because of how people are allowing their young children to dress. So if I still feel that if they're going to be that way about this film, they need to be that way about their neighbors and reporting the mothers and fathers that allow their children to dress very provocative from a day-to-day basis. And that's pretty much putting them out there. They're on Facebook and Twitter and everywhere else. So if you're going to go after this movie, you have to go after the actual parents that are actually allowing their children to dress inappropriately like this. So if we can't just be that way toward this movie, but actually take action in our own actual lives and hold these parents accountable for putting their children in this same sort of predicament. But I digress. Now, the streaming company was criticized in August for the U.S. Cuties poster, which featured young girls in revealing two-piece dance costumes. Yeah. Now, the French poster for Cuties, or Mignons in French, was of a group of girls walking on the street holding shopping bags. Now, since then, they had changed the poster, but they're still getting some backlash about that as well. Now, Senator Mike Lee said in a public statement that he spoke to Netflix employees on the phone and was unsatisfied with the company's response to his questions. Lee called on the company to stop its distribution of the film, stating that there was a moral question as well as legal question regarding the film. Now, he also gave a statement saying, "What I cannot understand, however, is how Netflix can condemn the conduct depicted in Cuties while celebrating the film and filmmakers who asked several underage girls to stand in front of a camera and engage in the same inappropriate, shameful conduct for all the world to see," Lee said. Now, as I said before, Netflix apologized for its initial U.S. advertisements of the film on Twitter back in August the 20th, as a matter of fact, adding that the material was not okay and updated the pictures and description of the film. The company defended the film itself, however, telling the world that Cuties is social commentary against the sexualization of young children. Now, in a statement, it's been said it's an award-winning film and a powerful story about the pressures young girls face on social media and from society more generally growing up. And we'd encourage anyone who cares about these important issues to watch the movie, which was Netflix's September statement. I mean, it is very questionable. And it's really depending on how it is viewed and perceived by most people. And it's going to more than likely come down to it. Just don't support the movie if you do not support that sort of thing. It's free speech, so anyone who does not agree with it, of course, is free to say so as well. But it's going to end up being, like I said, either go watch the movie or don't watch the movie. If you do not support it, don't go watch the movie, because then if you watch the movie, then you're supporting it. If you don't have a problem with it, 9 times out of 10, you're going to go watch the movie. Even if it's just to see if what it really is, what the movie is really about. It's going to happen either way. But I'm really curious to see how this is going to play out. If Texas is going to be the only state that is going to be throwing out indictments, and it's interesting to see what's going to come of this story itself about this movie, and what does that mean for the characters in there, the little girls who played these roles. I'm pretty sure there were waivers and things that the parents signed for these girls to be in the movie, and I'm pretty sure the parents will probably pay for this. So, like I say, it's interesting to find later down the road what's going to happen. Do the parents get in trouble? Does anyone else get in trouble? Like the person who wrote this? I mean, how is this going to work? And if it's going to be that way, then that means every single movie that comes out is going to go through scrutiny that involves children, which children should be protected, and morals should be respected, and boundaries should not be crossed. So, like I said, it's another story that when more comes from it, like this time, that was a little update for the Netflix Cutie story. I'll bring you more information as it comes in for either of these two stories. The hate crime being dropped and Texas throwing out an indictment on Netflix over the movie Cuties. But there's always something going on, and there's always going to be another story. So you guys, if you don't follow me, because I come with stories for you, and hopefully you guys will be informed and educated and get to have a different view or perception of what's going on in our world. And like I say, there's always going to be another story coming, so I will be back. Protect yourselves, love yourselves, and better yourselves and those around you, and love unconditionally. Until next time. You have been listening to On One Radio, the talk show podcast station, bringing you the current events and issues. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my news report. I wish you the best and have a wonderful